Oh, thank you. We did used to live together, Kevin and I, and he used to sit in the love seat in the living room like it was a baby's crib, right? Just his giant torso taking up the whole thing. I read something recently that really stuck with me. Apparently, you're supposed to kiss someone after you make love to them, to increase the intimacy. I'm not sold, you guys. Kissing my dad seems a little gay. All right. Had sex with my dad in the first joke. What is the ceiling on this performance? I got married last summer, not to my dad. That's just a sex thing. I married my wife. Before that, she was my fiance. And we've been married for like 6 months, and I'm still just so excited that I never have to say the word fiance again, right? Like, can we just admit that that is a garbage word, right? We go from girlfriend to wife, 2 great English words. Got to stop off in shitty Frenchtown for a year. I struggled to say that word every time I had to say it, not because I have commitment issues, but just because I don't say words that sound like that, right? I don't use those syllables very often. So when I had to say fiance, I felt like I was a grown man saying, fancy Beyonce. I still call her my fancy Beyonce once in a while because of that joke, and also because I don't think I'm ready for this marriage. I don't think I'm ready. I'm just kidding. I'm ready. She told me. We adopted a pet. That's like our training baby, right? If you can keep a pet alive, you can have a baby. And that was a bit of a crossroads for us because we come from different families. Like my family, we've always been cat people. Her family have always been dog people. So when it came time to adopt a pet, we compromised and got a dog. Because that's how compromise works. One person doesn't get what they want, and life goes on, right? You can't just walk into a vet with a cat and a dog and be like, hey, can you give me a 50-50 on this, right? And they hand you a ferret, and you're like, I didn't want that. We got a dog that's the size of a cat. I feel like that was a compromise for my sake, right? Because as a first-time dog owner, I don't need some big dog emasculating me everywhere we go, right? Like, just getting dragged around by a Bernese mountain dog. Like, Zeus, no! No, we have a little 15-pound dog, so, when I can't control him in public, I just pick him up, scoop him under my arm. We're going home, mister. My dog is a mix of a Chihuahua and a Jack Russell Terrier. And if you can't picture what he looks like, he just looks like a really muscular Chihuahua, right? Like he has a gorgeous Chihuahua face and then just like a long, muscular body, right? Like huge quads on my boy. My dog looks like if there was a Chihuahuas only Olympics, my dog would be submitted by the Russians, right? They'd be like, yes, he's regular Chihuahua. Right? He just wins all the events by killing the other dogs as soon as the event starts. Another gold for Igor. My dog helped me out a lot, Like my wife wanted to write our own vows for the wedding. And all my friends were so concerned that I was going to make a big joke out of it, that I wasn't going to be able to be serious. But I wrote very serious, heartfelt vows because I wrote them to my dog. Right? I just scooped him up and then wrote down everything that came to mind. I was like, you are the best thing that's ever happened to me. You're the first thing I think about when I wake up in the morning. I love your wet little nose. If a homeless person ever steals you, I will find them and kill them, right? And then just edit it down, make it more about a woman, and it's ready for church. Oh, let's learn a little bit about each other. If you're watching at home, you can participate. On the count of 3, yell out the name of your favorite band. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, Nickelback. Right? No, I said what we were all thinking, so nobody else had to yell it, right? I love Nickelback, man. Great band. They've sold so many albums. They've sold over 50 million albums worldwide. And sure, some of those were joke gifts. But that's still a stat that you should watch. I actually read this. This blew my mind. I was researching Nickelback for something I was writing, and I went on their Wikipedia page. And you will be shocked to find this out. Did you know that their third album, Silver Side Up, the one with How You Remind Me on it, the one that went huge international, did you know that that album was released in the United States on September 11th, 2001? The original 9/11. What are the chances that the most tragic day in American history was also 9/11? It's pretty fun. It's a pretty funny joke. What a great time to be alive. It's 2018. We survived 2017. Isn't that a good feeling? 2017 sucked. It was a garbage year. The only cool thing that happened in 2017 was when that sea lion pulled that little girl off the dock. Right? You remember that? If you didn't see that video, you can go home and Google little girl pulled off dock by sea lion. And it delivers. It's all of those words, right? There's a little girl, she gets pulled off a dock by a sea lion. It's one of those, one of those classic moments where you're posing your small child at the edge of a dock, mere inches away from one of the ocean's greatest predators, with no glass or bars to prevent an interaction, when the thinkable happens, and sea lions don't like to be fucked with, right? They will eat your babies. That little girl was fine. She got pulled in. Her grandpa got her right out of the water. She was not harmed. But I think we can all agree, if she had been hurt by that sea lion, those parents had it coming, right? You do not pose your child in front of a 1,000-pound wild animal with the word lion in its name. That's only two animals you have to keep track of, the sea lion and the land lion. Right? If I had been there that day when they pulled that little girl out of the water, I would have kicked her back in. I would have been like, the sea has chosen. This is fun. I like doing shows. But, it's also important to give back to your community. I do a bit of volunteer work on Sundays. I go to this old folks' home and lead activities for a couple hours. And the great thing is that when you volunteer your time like that, they let you kind of tailor it to your interests, and I'm a huge nerd. So when I go to the old folks' home for 2 hours on Sunday afternoons, I play role-playing games with a group of Alzheimer's patients. Or as I call it, Dungeons and Dementia, right? Like I'm the dungeon master leading them through the various scenarios. Like, all right, gentlemen, you enter a room and you are ambushed by 3 goblin rogues. Bruce, what do? He's like, I want my dinner. And I would be like, buddy, you just ate dinner, both in the real world and in the game. What's your answer? I want my dinner. Okay, Bruce sits down to eat dinner, takes 4 damage from an unblocked goblin attack. Michael, help him out. Michael's like, Mexicans smell different. And I'd be like, woof. I think you mean goblins. We've been over this, right? It's too late to try and change their racism. You just got to incorporate it into the game, otherwise it becomes a town hall meeting in there. I like to end every scenario the same way. For a bit of familiarity, I'll be like, okay, gentlemen, our time is up. Perhaps one of you could read to me the incantation written on your Visa card. 4, 4, 5, slow down. I am only a level 1 scribe. I'm just kidding. I would never do charity work. My time is my time. Oh, it's a great time to be Canadian right now, right? Our dollar is low, but our spirits are high. We're doing great just based off the fact that we're not American right now. We're like, not USA, not USA. It's a great feeling. Right? Because, we elected an idiot, but they elected a dangerous idiot, right? That's way worse. Not a lot of people loving Justin Trudeau these days. He takes a lot of photos, gives a lot of bad speeches. That's pretty much all he does. He's so eloquent. When he first got elected, though, he seemed like a real go-getter, right? When he first got elected, that was right during that whole Syrian refugee crisis. And he got elected and he was like, get those refugees in here. You get a jacket. You get a hug. Welcome to Canada, bro. And it was like, yes, is it always going to be this way? And no, it fell off pretty fast. But I never understood why we were opposed to letting those refugees into Canada in the first place, right? We have a huge country. If you look at a map of Canada, it's mostly places nobody wants to live. Right? You didn't even have to split them up. You could have dumped all 25,000 Syrian refugees in northern Saskatchewan. Just be like, welcome to New Damascus. It's a bit of a do-it-yourself project. Government's going to build you a Canadian Tire. They got tents and sleeping bags. Figure it out, bro. I'd like to dedicate that last joke to Saskatchewan, or as I lovingly refer to it, Canada's taint, right? Because it's just tucked right up in there between Canada's balls, Manitoba, Canada's butthole, Alberta, right? Which, yeah, if we extend the analogy, it means that Ontario is the shaft, Quebec is the head of the dick, the Maritimes are just seamen flying out there into the ocean. British Columbia, we're just back over here being butt cheeks. Oh, thank you. She liked it. It was like, accurate anatomy. Oh, that's great. Woo! We're having fun. So, yeah, like I said, I'm off the market now. I'm married. You're welcome, guys, right? Not every day a thoroughbred sex stallion retires himself, allowing the weaker males to breed. That's just a cool thing I did. No, I was the worst when I was single, but I get to look back with rose-colored glasses now, right? I get to look back on my single days and be like, oof, I was getting it done, right? When I was single, I was like a mind reader. I'd be walking down the street, I'd see a beautiful woman, and I'd just know she was thinking, ooh, hope this guy doesn't talk to me, right? I'm like, as you wish, milady. Chivalry is back, and it has the shield of anxiety. It's a real thing. I'll help you out with this, though. If I don't know, maybe there's some married people, dating people, single people in the room, and you're looking at me, you're like, oh, look, Kyle Bottom, minor Canadian celebrity, happily married. How do I, the person in the audience, make it happen? I have developed a simple 3-point checklist for knowing when it's time to propose, and it's super simple. Question number 1, do I love her, right? That's so simple, it shouldn't even be on there, but you got to start with an easy one, right? Otherwise, people get discouraged. Question number 2, can we live together, right? That is a more difficult question. It's easy to love someone from 6 blocks away. It's not easy to love someone within 600 square feet, right? I mean, you just always feel their eyes on you. And question number 3, the most important question, is she older than 19, right? Just a big old check mark on there. I'm 35, and I'm going to make a hard stance right now. Guys my age need to stop trying to get with 19-year-old women, because it's fucking weird, right? When you see a guy in his mid-30s trying to pick up teenage women, it feels like a guy who walks into a bakery, just cruises past all the perfectly good bread, opens up the door to the bread oven, just scoops out a handful of hot dough, right? Then he gets all confident like, hey, look who's got bread. And then you have to be like, bro, that is not bread, right? That's made of the same stuff as bread. That's going to be a bread one day. But I think we can all agree that bread has a crust around it. So why don't you throw that dough back in the oven till it's 23? The crust was the metaphor, or the crust was the personality the whole time. I'm going to get out of here. I got a crusty old woman at home, and thank you very much.